Stop what you're doing because this is seriously huge news. Canada, the UK, and France have threatened Israel with sanctions. A few hours ago, Canada, the UK, and France released a joint statement effectively shitting on the Israeli government in a way that we don't really see close allies of Israel do honestly ever. So their top line was, "We strongly oppose the expansion of Israel's military operations in Gaza. The level of human suffering in Gaza is intolerable. Yesterday's announcement that Israel will allow a basic quantity of food into Gaza is wholly inadequate." For context, what they're talking about there is how Israel announced a few days ago that they're going to expand both air and ground military operations into Gaza to put pressure on Hamas to release the hostages after basically blocking all humanitarian aid and food into Gaza and starving innocent people. This also came after Israel's very subtle finance minister Smotrich gave a press conference saying that humanitarian aid is only being allowed into Gaza so that the world does not stop us and accuse us of war crimes, but the intent is still to conquer, clean, and stay in Gaza until it is dismantled beyond recognition. They said, "We condemn the abhorrent language used recently by members of the Israeli government, threatening that, in their despair at the destruction of Gaza, civilians will start to relocate. Permanent forced displacement is a breach of international humanitarian law." Again, for context, it's incredibly rare to the point where it actually, I don't think, has ever happened that Israel's allies directly call out the right-wing lunatic Israeli government for saying complete Nazi shit. So this was nice. They then directly called out Netanyahu. "Israel has suffered a heinous attack on October 7th. We have always supported Israel's right to defend Israelis against terrorism, but this escalation is wholly disproportionate. We will not stand by while the Netanyahu government pursues these egregious actions." Then came the part that made my jaw drop personally. They said, "We oppose any attempt to expand settlements in the West Bank. Israel must halt settlements which are illegal and undermine the viability of a Palestinian state and the security of both Israelis and Palestinians. We will not hesitate to take further action, including targeted sanctions." Why is this so crazy? Well, it's one thing for Western nations, and I'll nuance that and say allies of Israel in the United States, to come out and say, "Hey, Israel, maybe you should tone it down a bit. This war is kind of crazy," which is basically the useless non-action they've been involved in so far. But it's a whole other thing for Israel's allies to come out and threaten sanctions if they don't stop the war, and threaten sanctions if they don't stop expanding settlements in the West Bank. It is very important that Canada, the UK, and France are not only like, "Hey, we want you to stop carpet bombing little babies," but they're also drawing attention to the illegal settlements in the West Bank and publicly insisting that they be stopped. They're also saying that we're drawing the parameters on how we expect Palestine to be treated in the negotiations for the ceasefire, but also in the pathway to statehood. This stance by these three countries is so desperately needed, and if they actually put their money where their mouth is, it could mean a lot for Palestine. So you won't hear me saying anything negative about this statement because, like, thank the Lord, we're finally here. The reason that we did get here and this recent shift did happen is probably thanks to how corruptible and easily swayed by money Trump is. Shout out Qatar. But I'm